We're back, A Dinosaur's Story, and it's time for our Easter egg breakdown of Batman The Adventures Continue Season 2, Number 2.
Because it's Thursday.
If you missed it, we put out a whole video on Sunday of everything we found in the first issue of the new Justice League Infinity comic. And last month, we did a video on BTAC Season 2, Number 1. So if you haven't seen those videos, come on. That's why you subscribe and hit the bell and stuff. Memory is fallible. Don't trust your mind, trust your phone. Corrections, speedrun. Stuff we messed up last time. A good old correction speedrun to cleanse the palate. This is the part where we feature comments from last issue's coverage, where folks decided, you know what, that thing you said last time was the wrong thing. It's actually this thing? And this time, the things are as follows. Jas DeLuc couldn't outright identify the painting in Hamilton Hill's office, but it is pretty similar to Gotham history paintings made by Dr. Decker in Scott Snyder's Batman Endgame. Decker was obsessed with immortal or undead Gotham City figures kept alive by Dionysium, the same chemical compound keeping the Court of Owls' talons alive. And regarding Zatanna's possibly magic elephant, Octavio Cantu reminds me that in the Justice League Dark animated movie from 2017, Zatanna uses multiple elephants in her stage performance, and when Batman brings it up, she replies,
"You were assuming they were real in the first place."
And lastly, we forgot a couple things on our own that I am ashamed about. The map of Gotham the court is looking over is the same No Man's Land map that's already been featured in BTAC a couple other times, and with how often we do our "Where's Nightwing" joke around here, which, yeah, predates this comic series, it's not even really worth explaining. Maybe I'll bring it up someday. I guess you'll just have to stick around. I am shocked that now that he's actually in the comic, we didn't do a "There's Nightwing." So, there's Nightwing. DCAU References. Starting off our Easter egg tour, we've got several callbacks to the DC animated universe of yesteryear. Alfred being
pretty spry for a guy who's got to be, what, mid-80s?
Maybe because of his spy days with British intelligence, revealed in the Batman the Animated Series episode The Lion and the Unicorn. This area of the Batcave, where Batman and Deadman are hanging out in the start, looks a lot like the area Batman totally destroyed when he rage quit in I Am the Night, the scene that's the source of this angry Batman shot I use pretty often. And hey, with the villain of that episode, the Jazzman, returning next issue, that's far too many I Am the Night references to be coincidental, right? Yeah, I'm right. The woman Deadman possesses at the funeral, who we find out is Hamilton Hill's sister, kind of resembles Judge Maria Vargas from the BTAS episodes The Strange Secret of Bruce Wayne and I Am the Night. I'm telling you, it's all part of the plan. Of note, in the Batman Beyond episode Revenant, old Bruce Wayne says,
"I've seen it all. Demons, witch boys, immortals, zombies."
And while the Egyptian goddess Thoth Khepera that he fights in the episode Avatar probably counts as a zombie, these Talon zombies are, I think, the closest thing to actual zombies that we've seen him fight hand to hand. Obviously, Paul Dini knew he was going to introduce the Court of Owls into BTAS lore 12 years before they were invented and told Hilary J. Bader to put a reference to them in her episode script. Or, like we talked about in our Will It Canon episode on BTAC Season 1, Batman Beyond isn't the future of the BTAC timeline anyway, and none of this mattered to bring up. Regardless, this panel of Deadman versus zombies reminds me a lot of the hallucination zombie fight Terry McGinnis had in the episode Spellbound. And side note, this is a pretty dang cool way to approach the Talons, rather than the more perfect-looking owly ninjas we usually see them as. Feels a lot more New Batman Adventures this way. Kudos, fellas and Monica. El Batarang Correcto! I guess Veronica Vreeland's dad's first name isn't General after all, it's Vernon. Makes me feel like the dude wished he had a son instead, and so named his daughter the closest thing he could to Vernon Jr. Though with all the other family members we previously didn't know existed popping up in this comic, maybe we will see a Vernon Jr. before the year's up. And the dear ancient text began to share such secrets with me, secrets that are mine alone to know. Hamilton Hill Jr. Speaking of, with the reveal that the leader of the Court of Owls was in fact Hammy Hill Sr. himself, all that was going through my brain was,
"Oh, wise up, Junior. Game's over!"
Hill Jr. hiding his dad's involvement with the court also allows for the future Hamilton Hill High School to still make sense, not being named after a publicly outed supervillain, if the school even exists in this future. And Hill does look notably younger after being revived, similar to how Bruce Wayne got de-aged by the Lazarus Pit in Out of the Past.
He's so young.
Except Lazarus Pits had nothing to do with this, which was kind of a bummer a little bit. The Court of Owls robes look like Raish's. They have immortality chemicals of some kind. They're centuries old. Come on, it was such an easy connection to make. But there I go again, being disappointed with what this comic isn't instead of celebrating what it is. I love me some new Batman animated stories. Keep them coming. Maybe it's Lazarus Pit Light? Lazarus Pit LaCroix. Naturally Lazarus essenced. Ted! Comic book references!
With this issue being the second half of the Court of Owls plotline, it's mostly just fitting in all the various pieces and references established in the first part, but we definitely still have a few notable callbacks. First of all, check out Alfred always picking out suits for Bruce, and Bruce never actually wearing them to the thing. This also happened in Batman the Adventures Continue Season 1 Number 1, when Alfred picked out a nice blue blazer for Bruce to wear at Veronica Vreeland's cocktail party with Lex Luthor, but he went with the classic black tux instead. We also have a room of Talon zombies, very similar to the zombie army from the original Court of Owls storyline in the New 52 Batman series. If you look closely, one of the Talons wears a suit almost identical to modern day designs for Earth 3's Owlman from the Crime Syndicate. Ty Templeton uses more fun floating heads to depict narration from Hamilton Hill Sr., spilling his evil plans in typical bad guy monologue fashion. Deathstroke and Alfred had floating heads used in BTAC Season 1 to show some of their longer dialogue moments as well. Batman grapples away at the end of the issue in a very similar pose to when he fought the robot in BTAC Season 1 Number 1. Not dig it, Ty. We like all his Batman poses, it's just kinda close, but I suppose Batman only has a few different angles to work with when using his grapple. He practiced this pose for years once he became Batman. Personally, I was kind of expecting Nightwing to be a sleeper Talon like he was in the original New 52 storyline. Dick had a special tooth implant that would have activated him as a Grey Sun, one of a long line of Talons, including Dick's great-grandfather William Cobb. Haley Circus presented child athletes to the Court of Owls, and one was always selected in secret to be that generation's Talon. But when Dick's parents were killed and Bruce took him in, the court's original plans were altered. Since we basically asked ourselves where's Nightwing all of BTAC Season 1, I expected him to have much more of a role to play in this storyline. But alas, some wings get clipped. Where are you? But you gotta admit, a DCAU Court of Owls is still awesome. That's what I got. It's BTAC.
Maddie? Hello? Timeline stuff.
While there's not a lot of actual timelining to be done this time around, Batman the Adventures continues to have fun continuity nods, interesting new developments to the history of the DCAU, and a handful of brain ticklers. As we've seen throughout BTAC, it seems as though there's been an effort to separate from the larger DCAU outside of Batman the Animated Series and the new Batman Adventures. And this issue seems to follow suit, with Deadman's story changing from what we've seen in his Justice League Unlimited appearance. While he expresses confusion there as to why he hasn't moved on completely to the afterlife, here we're left with the impression that it's totally up to him.
When I got this amulet from Zatanna, she indicated it was up to you to decide when to move on.
Yeah, but
I've avenged my own death. Why am I still here?
who knows? Maybe we'll see some development that makes the pieces fit. But speaking of things that are here, how did these suits get here? Freeze, I can understand. The last time we saw him, Batman blasted his head into a block of ice, so I guess that explains why he has the suit. He just detached his noggin and put it, well, I don't know where he put the noggin, but according to Deadman, he's not around. Firefly's suit being in the case is a bit more of a mystery. While I appreciate the fire and ice motif, the last thing we know about Firefly was that he got exploded in a bank vault, escaped, seemingly still in his suit, torn up though it may be, and was being nursed back to health out of the country by Cobra. I've got a feeling that with the direct callbacks to the last season of Batman the Adventures Continue, maybe there's going to be some payoff down the road to explain what's up with this guy, or maybe even something with Nora. I mean, why else allude to two villains from the last series who totally need their share of Healy help in conjunction with a raised from the dead storyline? And now that payoff is on the mind, is that third case the Red Hood from Batman Adventures Volume 2? This is it, lads. We're finally gonna get our payoff! Oh, Monica posted a better look, and it's Bane? Wait a second. Last time we saw him, Batman drugged him on a rooftop and... Oh, no. Bruce, you can't do that. You cannot strip your enemies on the roofs of Gotham. At least this sets him up for the totally canon turtleneck and watch with 3 buttons outfit from the Justice League Wings of War novel that I read on stream a little bit back. So thanks. The biggest drop from this issue, though, is further details on the history of the Court of Owls, and that the founders of the court and of Gotham itself are one and the same. The Hills, the Mayfields, and the Marshes. Who are the Marshes? I mean, we know the Hill family, obviously, they're the main characters of the book, and it stands to reason that the Mayfields are a business family in Gotham, given the name of the mall in Make 'em Laugh and Holiday Nights. So the Marshes has to be a reference to something, right? Well, Paul Dini has revealed that this was a typo meant to be Marches, not Marshes. This gives us 2 possible leads in Dr. March, who you may remember as Francine Langstrom's father seen in episodes like On Leather Wings and Terror in the Sky, or Lincoln March, a talon from the original Court of Owls storyline, who not only ran as a mayoral candidate, apropos for this story given how Hill is now off the scene, but also believed himself to be Bruce Wayne's brother. Who knows? It's even possible Lincoln and Dr. March may be from the same family. I'm really excited for all of this deep diving into early Gotham's history, especially after I just read Grant Morrison's Return of Bruce Wayne over my vacation time. Other than this story, the only DCAU adjacent source I've seen that even touches on it is the novelization for Batman Rise of Sin Tzu, another book that I recently read on stream. I'm telling y'all, come to streams, you might learn some things about stuff. Given how weird continuity is throughout this book, it's hard to say that any of the info within would be applicable. Either way, it's going to be really interesting to see where the crew goes with all of this founding stuff. Batman The Adventures Continue Season 2 is off to a fantastic start, and I'm ready to see the rest of it. Give it to me now. Inject it into my brain. If you don't inject it into my brain right now, this message will self-destruct and James will come back on the screen and you do, okay, I guess that's what y'all wanted.
Other/miscellaneous. Classic Nightwing butt shot. Thanks, Ty. Man, Nightwing was in both issues so far and didn't do a damn thing except knock over some popcorn. This cover is so misleading. Is this a reference to Bruce Timm's noted dislike for Dick Grayson? This is deep cut. We get even more paintings in Junior's office, one of which is 1967's Symphony in Black by, how do you pronounce E-R-T-E? The artist, is it Erte? Erti? You no idea, okay. Who is considered the father of the Art Deco movement, the visual and architectural design style that heavily influenced the look of Batman the Animated Series. The other painting? Some lady, I don't know. Figure it out and tell me for next video, please. Junior mentions the Loyal Order of Water Buffaloes from the Flintstones, the leader of which was called the Grand Poobah. Also the name I gave our admins in our Discord server. Come hang out, the link is below. It's a good thing this place just has a convenient Arkham video game Batman ceiling hole entrance. Also, this owl statue is totally Owl Jolson.
I love to sing about the moon and the June and the spring.
Man, Batman's gonna turn himself into a zombie if he's not careful. He'd better put back that Pirates of the Caribbean doubloon. Monica Cabina says the frozen zombie holding the torch was reminding her of Eddie, the mascot for Iron Maiden, and thus blasted the Trooper while working. Ted, why is this in the script?
I don't know. I thought it was funny.
You make a compelling argument. Scoreboard! A new segment for these videos! Last time I predicted a few things, so it's time to tally up our score and see what we got right and wrong. First up, Maureen Hill was not under the owl mask after all. -1 point for Griffin Database, though judging by her conversation with Junior about being the throne of the mayoral office, with each of her husband's decisions passing by her first, I'm still willing to bet future scoreboard points that she'll be back in a devious way somehow. Another point gone for Ra's al Ghul's lack of involvement with the court yet, and another because Deadman did not try to get that D. He had it in him all along. I'm still sorry. But I will award myself a point for this puppy, except there ain't no next time. Unless he comes back as a Talon zombie, because close enough, bringing us to... oh, That's a negative number. That's bad. Let's try to get that fixed for next issue. No. Conclusion. I wish they'd just literally brought Mr. Freeze in here at the end. The whole I'ma use Mr. Freeze's gun to defeat the bad guy has already been done a couple notable times in the DCAU, but it's still always cool. Is that better or worse than Owlsome? You tell me. This was a super condensed version of the New 52 Court of Owls, City of Owls story, but it's not like it needed to be all of that. That was one of our biggest complaints with last season of BTAC, that the Jason Todd story was just what we'd already seen 1,000 times. This story was a pretty neat way to bring them in a format that felt like it could easily be an episode of the new Batman adventures. And this is going to be a little bit of a downer, but I should mention here at the end that artist Ty Templeton recently publicly revealed that he's battling stage 3 cancer, undergoing chemo and radiation treatments. Our sincerest best wishes to you, Ty. Our hearts go out to you and your family during this very real struggle, and we're absolutely pulling for the speediest and easiest recovery possible. Despite all our jabs and all of this, Ty, you are a legend, and we look forward to seeing you on the other side of this.
Hey, Ty, if you're watching, I saw your comment on the coming out video. I don't know if you ended up seeing my response, but I'm greatly thankful for everything you said. It's nuts to me having someone whose work I've just admired for so long to have something so kind to say to me in a video that I was so scared to make and everything. You're such a kind guy. In any of the correspondence that we've had, I'm just always just blown away that you even take the time to say anything to me at all. So just that one specifically was just thank you. Thank you so much. I'm keeping you and your family in my thoughts as you're going through everything that you are, and I'm hoping for the best. Thanks, and take care of yourself. It's a lot. James, take it back. James, take it back. I'm gonna cry on camera again.
Now, going forward, we've been told that upcoming issues of BTAC will feature a new, as of yet unannounced artist, at least at the time of this recording. So it's not yet 100% clear how this may or may not affect the release schedule. We'll be posting updates as we get them on our social media at DCAU Watchtower, so be sure to follow us over there to stay in the know. But let's not end the video on a bummer. We announced a giveaway last BTAC chapter breakdown for someone in the comments to win a trade paperback collection of Season 1 of The Adventures Continue. And the randomly selected winner is whoever's name is currently on screen. Send us an email at contest@watchtowerdatabase.com with your name and mailing address, and we'll get this right over to you. US residents only, just FYI, so let me know if I need to pick someone else. Also, let me know if you want me to sign this or something. I know I had nothing to do with it, but like I'm a really cool, famous internet celebrity, right? I'll totally do it. We just recently passed 2 more subscriber checkpoints for giveaways. 71,000 subs to give away a Red Hood Adventures Continue action figure. I'll even throw in a copy of BTAC Season 2 number 1, and 73,000 subs to give away a set of Batman Beyond comics, including Batman Beyond 2.0 Volume 1, Batman Beyond 2016 Volume 1, plus the 37th and 38th issues, which was the first appearance of Batwoman Beyond, and Gotham Adventures number 6? How did that get in there? That's the Deadman issue! This was absolutely not planned. That was months ago that we came up with these prizes, but it works! If you want to win either of these sets of giveaways, all you have to do is leave a comment down under in the Australia box. Someone commented last time saying that I was making fun of Australian people. It's been a running gag. We have a lot of Australian followers. We're friends with them. It's fine. To answer our question of the day, do you want to see the remaining action figure characters show up in BTAC Season 2? Like Flashpoint Batman, Batman Who Laughs, Vampire Batman, and Hush? LOL. Or would you prefer that now that DC Direct is DC directly in the garbage can, we instead get whatever stories this team wants to cook up? Like Jazzman's coming up. Friggin' one-off random-ass Jazzman. That can't possibly be toy company mandated. Nobody is picking up the Jazzman action figure off Walmart shelves. Except me. We'll pick 2 winners at random from the comments of this video, 1 for each giveaway bundle, and reveal their names in the next BTAC breakdown. Or in the next JL Infinity breakdown, depending on what's happening with BTAC releases. I guess you'll just have to watch both. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, all the good stuff. Bye!